All right, man. I thought it'd be important to listen to this one. After hearing the Knox Hill interview, I thought it'd be important to check this joint out. So here we go. You ready?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Could I have just a day where I get to see your face? I would love.
What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40-year-old FUQ Boyz podcast. I go by the name Black Pegasus.
And it's your boy, Don. Want to be back in the house once again.
Yeah, man. So I'm coming in just a little more calm than normal because I know there's a lot of meaning and depth to this joint specifically. Sometimes I'll come in here a little reckless because, you know, we're in here having a good time. We don't know what we're reacting to.
Yeah, we're joking. We're trying to have fun. We're saying offhanded stuff. And both of us watched the interview that Ren did with Knox Hill.
Shout out to Knox Hill. It's a really good interview. Go check it out.
Yeah, if you have not watched it, it is an excellent. He did a great job. I mean, really delved into the artistry, the process of making music, I mean, they had a great conversation.
Really good. Now, in that conversation, it was made aware to me, and maybe I just didn't know. I think this is the first time he publicly said it, but Ren had come out and said that the song Freckled Angels is dedicated, I believe, to his past friend and a very close friend. What was his name? Joe, I believe. Joe Hughes or something like that. Joe Hughes, I believe, is his name. I hope I got that right, but good friend of Ren. And I was like, man, after hearing that, I was like, I really want to hear what he had to say when this came out. You know, the story is really profound. If I remember correctly, basically, they got some type of phone call where his friend was saying, you know, kind of, it sounded like he was maybe on a bridge or something of that course. And he was given that call like, hey, you know,
yeah, he shared a story of his friend saying that they had both been going through some hard times, a couple like breakups and things like that. And his friend made an offhanded comment about, sometimes I just want to walk out into the ocean, something to that effect. Yeah. And, you know, he just took it as a joke because his friend would joke and it kind of had a dark sense of humor. And immediately I thought about myself and like, I have a dark sense of humor. My dad has like a really dark sense of humor. So I will always make these jokes and these off-color statements that, you know, people will even cringe, like in the family, be like, oh my God, you're having, you know, your dad moment. They'll say you're having a Tomas moment.
Yeah.
Because I'll make these dark jokes. And I could see like being a friend or being in those dark places and not realizing that, you know, the joke was really coming from a place that was deeper than that. And oftentimes that's what I'll use humor for, as a way to alleviate that pressure.
Yeah, in the interview, I believe he said they got a phone call and they all started getting ready to, because it was basically that phone call where, you know, someone's on like a ledge or kind of a bridge is what I'm guessing. And they're saying they're going to jump. And, you know, they get the phone call, they go to, you know, try to stop this from happening. And when they get there, he's gone. And it sounded like they never found the body. And it's kind of disturbing and sad because in reflection, I remember Ren saying that he actually was thinking that it could have been accidental. Like he might have been on the ledge just thinking about it, but if the weather was really rough and all it
takes wind
is, yeah. So it's.
I mean, I'm going to say something that's just real. I had a moment in my life where I considered that, and I put, you know, I don't know what I can say on here, so I'm just going to dance around it. But I put something to my head, and I began to pull back, and just a touch more pressure, and that would have been game over. And at the last moment, I was in my parents' basement, and the thing that stopped me is that I thought about my mom having to clean up the mess. Like this dark, I mean, that's as dark as it gets. Like, but that's the reality. That's the thing that pulled me down the brink. But I know another two people I know that ended up actually going through with it.
Yeah.
One, he was like, you know, thinking about it, he lived, and another who did not live. So, you know, these things happen. People have these moments in our life, and it feels like the cross is too heavy to bear at times. I know that I've personally been there. I wish I could say that it was, you know,
Yeah.
Not more than once, but there's been multiple points in my life where I felt like I didn't know if I could keep going on, but
Yeah.
I'm here today, and thankfully, you know, I haven't lost anyone super close to me in that manner. And thankfully, you know, I didn't accidentally do it, because I didn't really want to do it. If I really wanted to, I would have, but the path that I was going down, and there were substances that I was on, like I could have very easily just made that life altering decision that changed my whole, you know, it's really the family, you know, that's life, and the people that are left that have to deal with it.
Yeah. So, you know, we're going to get into the music, you guys. I just, you know, hearing Ren tell this story to Knox Hill, it, I don't know. I was really curious, because he said Freckled Angels is about that. And this is a song I have not heard or reacted to. And I thought it was, you know, before, if you guys don't know, we're going to interview Ren, but I think it's very important to listen to this song before that interview. Now, I don't know if we're going to ask any questions involving this, because he answered a lot of it. I just think it's important to try to get to know the different facets of him before we have a conversation. And so here we go. We're going to just get into it. I'm not going to play the intro. You guys know what to do. If you want to like, share, and comment and subscribe, you can. But let's just get into the music. But this is Ren's Freckled Angels, and I believe it's a dedication to his good friend, Joe Hughes, if I remember correctly. Here we go.
Could I have just a day where I'd get to see your face? I would laugh and you would skate, hanging out by the pier gate, chasing dreams, freckled face, no inhibitions, aces mates. Tell me everything's okay, you never meant to go away. And I need something to hold on to, and I wish I could hold on to you, 'cause I will never ever forget you. And bet I know you'll be soaring through, because freckled angels laugh the hardest, and their hearts, they are the largest. With their wings they fly the farthest, so I know you're gonna be okay. Freckled angels live the longest, and their minds, they are the strongest. Oh, their friends, they are the fondest, so I know you're gonna be okay.
It's crazy, because knowing the story, I feel like it touches, like I feel more emotional, because I know the full story and who
For
it's
sure.
about. Now, the best part about this song is that he chose to have this upbeat energy and sing it in a way where you're like, but it's still that, like, you know how we're all like, yo, we're here to celebrate their life, but it still just hurts. You know what I'm saying? So like the story, I'm like connecting to that. Like the person I lost that you guys know on the channel is my mother, passed away in 2010 from cancer. So I always relate my greatest loss to that. And then the children, like I had 2 stillborn births with my wife. And so those are things that I equate to it, you know, losing the children, but I didn't have a relationship with them. So like it hurts, but it doesn't hurt. It does hurt, but I don't know how to explain it. But
yeah,
those
it's
are the
different
pains.
because you don't have, you know, a lifetime of experience with the person and memories of like, oh, this is when we did this. And, you know, I mean, the reality is like, you know, I'm sure there's times where you're like, I wish that my mom was here just so I could talk to her. And
that's
ask
what
her
I
a
was saying, because
question.
everything he's saying, even though I can't relate to their friendship, bro, yeah, I want to see my mom again. And all, like, he's like on the pier, or like, you know, just doing things we did together in the past. And it's just like, it brings up these emotions of just like hearing a story and me knowing what loss feels like. I know how much this hurts. And at the same time, though, he's using this up tempo type of like, it's like I said, it's like when you're trying to be positive and say, hey, we're here to celebrate their life, even though you're still in that anguish and pain. That's how I'm translating the whole thing. But I'm gonna let it play. Anyways, it's touching. Like, it's a really good. What's crazy is I think this came out 7 or 8 years ago, and it's just like, that's why, like, with Ren, I just get a little flabbergasted in a way, because he's really really talented. So.
Could I have just a sec? Please pull me up out of this wreck. Crack a joke and tense your pecs, act a fool, but with excellence. And every time I laugh, it reminds me of you, the funniest guy I ever knew. I've got so much left to say, hope I can tell you someday. And I need something to hold on to. And I wish I could hold on to you, 'cause I will never ever forget you. And bet I know you'll be soaring through, because freckled angels love the hardest, and their hearts, they are the largest. With their wings they fly the farthest, so I know you're gonna be okay. Freckled angels live the longest, and their minds, they are the strongest. Oh, their friends, they are the fondest, so I know you're gonna be okay. I hope you can hear me singing to you, 'cause if so, I'll sing until my voice shatters and my lungs, they explode. I'll sing over a crowded room, so they all know how much I really miss you, Joe. Laugh the hardest, and their hearts, they are the largest. With their wings they fly the farthest, so I know you're gonna be okay. Freckled angels live the longest, and their minds, they are the strongest. Oh, their friends, they are the fondest, so I know you're gonna be okay.
Man, so how often do you call your dad and tell him that you love him?
Not enough. I definitely text him more than I call, but when I call, I always say I love you. I say I love you a lot more now than I did when I was young.
And I'm saying this personally because I, had an experience like about, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where, I did some like work, and I just really was brought to attention the power of, just family and relationships and saying those things to people, because I've gone my whole life with not doing that, like my whole life. Right. Yeah. And like, even if I think about it now, I do it pretty often, but it's been a while since I called my brother and told him that I loved him.
Yeah.
I think we've said it to each other maybe a couple times.
Yeah.
Like I didn't say this, but when I was in Florida, I was really struggling. Anyways, I was really struggling, and you actually had an incident where someone close to you chose that path, right?
Yep.
And you specifically texted me and said, I love you. And I just needed it. I needed to hear that at that moment. And like, yeah, it's just one of those things I think I don't do enough, because, these moments of life are fleeting, and you don't realize that you might not have tomorrow. And there's sometimes like an animosity or an anger that you're holding on to with a person and you might never have a chance to, you know, tell them like, it's okay. Like, I love you, or I'm sorry, or this thing that we're fighting about is not worth it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm just present to the fact that, it's hard to put into words, to be honest.
It's interesting because, you know, it's weird. It's like, honestly, I'm not used to being this vulnerable, let's say, on camera. So let's just keep it real. But
with you, the two of us in a room.
Yeah.
You know.
What I'm gonna say is, like, one, in the song, he started crying during the song.
Yeah.
And he kept that in there.
Yeah.
And the reason I shed a tear because when my mom passed, I made a song for my mom. And there's a moment in there where I have that. And it's actually hard for me to go back and listen to that music because I just don't want to be in that place. Even though I know I have those feelings, I was like, yo, this is just for the time being. But it's still not enough. It wasn't a good enough song for my mom. It was what I did at the time. But that emotion, I understand it. I've heard one track from NF where he's crying on the song about his mom as well. And so it's weird. And then with what you're saying too, you know, someone that was close to me, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, the reason they took their life, it's so tragic and messed up. But then it was like, I was like, man, I just want my people to know that I love them because I knew you were going through some shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, don't ever think that you can go down that route or even think of it because you have people. I'm like, dude, we love you. You can come stay with us, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's going to be all good. Like, nothing. I don't ever want to hear a story of the people who are like right next to me. Because this was a buddy of mine who used to like damn near live with me and go, I don't want to dox him, but like, we weren't as close as me and you. Yeah. But like, we spent like a certain amount of our life together because of the industry I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so when I got that call, and then when I heard the circumstances, you know, you're thinking of the kids. You're just like, dude, what is going on? And then you get to the darkness of it. Anyways,
I just think that sometimes people don't realize, this is what I was thinking, is that people don't realize like how much they mean. Because like the people in my life don't call me and tell me that they love me that often. Like my, you know, like certain people in the family may not say that. Certain friends may never say that, right? Because there is this weird thing, especially with men, where we don't say that. And I try to make an effort to say it because I've realized the power of it, and because I realized that our time is limited, and I would like the people in my life to know how I truly feel about them, because I've seen what can happen. My ex, I saw her father die. You know, there was like an argument that happened. It was Valentine's Day. He was in the hospital. There was an argument that occurred kind of with the three of us, and like, he passed away and she never got to heal that wound. And it was a dumb argument. It was a dumb argument. And I had this weird thing with him because of it. And I was just like, dude, I never like opened up to this man. And then I ended up spending like almost 15 years with this woman. Like, I robbed myself of the opportunity to know him, you know, and get to know him because of some weird things. Yeah. And it just made me realize that like, you have to take those opportunities to let the people in your life know what you really mean to them. And, you know, there's a guy that I trained jujitsu with. We weren't super close. We weren't good friends, right? But when I went to the jujitsu gym initially in Denver, where they had the MMA ring and everything, you know, he was super friendly and warm and inviting. And I was scared because I saw like 10 UFC fighters in the gym and I'm rolling with them. And I'm like, dude, I don't feel like I belong here. Yeah. Like, what am I doing here? And I honestly was like, I don't know if I want to keep going. This is super intimidating. Yeah. And he, at the end of class, was just like, yo, what's up, man? You did great. And just made me feel at home. And every time I saw him, he was super friendly. He died giving a blood transfusion. He was, you know, like in his 30s, and he had kids. And I think about him all the time because I'm like, I never had a chance to thank him for, you know, making me feel welcome. And his spirit made people feel at home. And how many other people are there out there in the world that are like that that you're even closer to, that, you haven't taken the time to thank or to say those words to, of like, you mean so much to me.
Yeah.
And so now I try to make it an effort to thank those people in my life for for who they are as human beings.
Well, and that's the coolest thing about my wife and child, my daughter. My daughter's teaching me how to love in a different way and show more love. Because even like when you started tearing up, I seized up. I could have been like, yo, bro, like, I love you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Type thing. But I'm over here like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? That's just, I was raised in a super, like, masculine household. My dad was very not, we didn't even really start saying I love you to each other until I'm like older, and I realized how important it was to say it all the time.
Yeah, and let's be real.
Again, we're from the 80s.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and let's be real is that I had to let that part of me go because I realized that holding on to all that was creating some sort of cancer inside of me. So I went through many years where I would never do this. Never, ever show any emotion. I bottle it all up, and it would explode in these crazy ways. And let's be real, there's people that would watch this reaction and be like, dude, these dudes are soft. Is he really tearing up over a reaction? And would clown us and roast us for it.
We will get
That's
clowned,
reality.
and we will get clowned at some point, but it's okay. My thing is, it's about balance too. It's like, I think there's a difference between
being a mess where you fall apart.
Having emotion, because we are human creatures, and being able to control that emotion. And being able to control that emotion, there's a grieving process. There's a lot to emotions, and I just think there's a balance to it. Like, I think, like I was telling you earlier, because of wars and different things, we had to compartmentalize things for the war and come home to the family. And I think it's still like, there's a war going on outside. No man is safe from.
Yeah.
There is, but it's still like there's more of a balance that I'm learning later in life where you can open up to your friends. And that's why I texted you that. I would have never texted that like maybe 10, 15 years ago. I wasn't in touch with what it means to open up and tell people how you're feeling. And it's not it's that, and that's what I also realized too. There's a balance too. Like, there's a certain thing you have with your guys, and there's certain things I have with my wife. Like, I say I love you like probably 20 times a day to my wife and kid. Like, I love you. See you in a little bit. I love you. I'm about to leave. I love you. I love you. You know what I'm saying? But with your guys, I try to show it. I will take the moment to say it, because when I'm saying it, I want it to be important, because I never say it. And I say it to harness something like, yo, P never says that. Why did he say this? And it's because I'm concerned about something or whatever, because I try to show it in my actions. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I've been kind of bred. And, and again, we're all learning, we're all growing. Like, you don't stop growing. When you stop growing, you die.
Yeah.
So, but
and at that moment when you told me that, I'm sure you sent something, but like, I'd been in a relationship for 15 years. And at that very specific moment, I was just like, what is the point of all of this?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? Like, I've been working the last 15 years for my family. And finally at this point where I feel like I've really come into my selflessness as a man and trying to put my family's interests first and really let go of a lot of this childish stuff, it separates. And it's like, who am I even? Yeah. Like, at this point, like, what was the point of all of this? Like, what is the point of what I'm doing now? I was just like, I don't even like care. Like, there's no meaning. Like, if I don't have like them, not that I don't have like my son, right? But it's like that structure and like that, it's just like, what? Like, I don't care about like going out and meeting new chicks and like all that stuff that fascinated me before that I was doing that was like so exciting. I'm like, it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. And like, you build
your life.
Where is the value now?
You see your future with these people, and when that changes, it's just the whole thing changes. But it takes time to acclimate. And I remember because we were having those long combos about. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. That
I mean, this was a beautiful song, and I think it was a great. Ode to his friendship. I really got a sense of how much his friend meant to him. And I thought that what he did was a great, loving, explanation of what their friendship meant. It was a beautiful song. Like, there's sadness to it. It is bittersweet, but I did feel the sense of joy and love that he had for his friend.
The way he presented it.
And
the way
the
he was
meaning,
singing it.
But even the words, like
Yep.
the lyrics were really, it was what's the word? It was, God dang it. We're getting old, man. But it was an ode to his friendship and what that friend meant to him, and like a thank you for being you and for the times that you made me laugh and for the experiences that we shared together. And I just thought it was a very, beautiful, ode to his friendship and to his friend.
The interesting thing he touches on, that everyone who has lost someone they really loved can always, experience, is the saying, like, I would do anything.
Yeah.
I would give anything for just 5 minutes, for seconds. Just, every now and then you have these dreams. I have dreams and I hear my mom's voice, and it's like, I lived with her voice for 30 years of my life. It's so comforting. It's so normal. It's so real. And in these dreams, they come back and you wake up like, what is going on? Why do I feel like she's still here? Why did I hear her voice? And he said it in the song, but it's just like, you would give anything.
Because she still is here there with you.
Yeah. It's interesting when you touch these emotions and dive into it. And this was good, man. I knew what we were getting into, kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't know where we were going to go. We're kind of like the type that we're very, I don't know. we're kind of all over the place, but I mean, that's what you get. That's what humans are. You know what I'm saying? That's when you get us, you get human beings. And as
we're trying to be.
Ren's always like, I'm just a clumsy human being. Like,
I when he said that, I really appreciated that, because I was like, yeah, man, that's facts. I'm just a clumsy human being too, and I'm just really trying to like do my best, and like sometimes I just fumble it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And sometimes I try to be funny, it comes out terrible, and sometimes I'm trying to do good, and I just step on some toes, and it's like, man.
Now I don't know what to do, because I'm like, do we just leave? Do we just end this reaction? There was another song that people were saying, you should react to Fire.
Yeah, I think this is,
but I don't.
Let's do a different reaction to Fire.
Yeah.
I think,
it's on the same album, so I thought maybe it has the same vibe. Like, I'm getting this. I'm guessing the album's called Freckled Angels, so I'm wondering if it's kind of like a theme, an homage. And so I was like, let's do, because I like to really listen to his music when we do these reactions. But as we were talking, I was like, I feel like we should probably just leave it with Freckled Angels, because it just hit different, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Damn, Ren. Oh, this is him performing it. He said he performed it at the funeral.
Yeah. Which is crazy, because it's like, how could you even keep it together?
Oh my God, bro. Yeah, it just reminds me of speaking at my mom's funeral. And I just look back, and I was like, that was kind of cringe. I should have, like, everything in life you start to go, for me, I go back and regret, like, that Christmas, I didn't want to pull the Christmas tree out of the crawl space, and I was just selfish. And on tour, she'd call me and I'm doing sound check, and I didn't have time to answer the phone. It's so crazy.
I mean, I've been guilty of that, of not answering the phone. I think
all of us are, and I think this is just a reminder. Like, you were like, when's the last time you called your dad? You probably should do that.
And this goes to the people out there, because like, that's why I brought it up. I know that I have not been the best, and I've really tried over this last like 8 years, since I had this revelation, to make an effort to call my friends and tell my friends, hey man, I love you. Like, you're one of my favorite human beings. Like, I will call my people and let them know that, and be like, hey man, this is what I love about you. Like, I appreciate you because you do this for me. And like, I see you as being this person in the world that has this ability to succeed, or that you have this joy and ability to make people laugh, and to just really honor people, because everybody's different and they have their unique gifts. So I try to call my people and say, hey man, thank you for being you. Thank you for being, my mom, my dad, and for giving me these gifts, even though there's a lot of other things that come with some of these relationships, because I appreciate it when people do that for me, because it reminds me that, it's worth it to just keep working and just trying to be your best version of yourself, to honor the other people in your life and make them proud.
Yep, this is true, and that's all you can do, and that's definitely what Ren did for his friend. I mean, this is gonna live on in infamy, and that it's man, I'm glad Ren was able to put this in a track, and I don't know, like, literally this came on my radar because of his interview with Knox Hill. So shout out to them and him for opening up. He's been opening up a lot lately in these interviews where I'm just like, you get to see another side of him, and I think. I keep telling people there's a moment happening for him right now. Like something is happening, that door is opening, and the tide is shifting with his career and all this stuff. And he's just one of these people who's I don't.
I can see him playing Red Rocks.
Oh,
day.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We're gonna save this. I got some. That brings me to a good question that I haven't heard anyone ask him yet. That I want to ask him. So, anyways, man, Ren, shout out to you. Rest in peace to your brother, man, and rest in peace to anyone who's lost a loved one, and you could really feel that in your heartstrings.
And call your loved ones. You know, if you're watching this, call those people in your life. If there's somebody you got to say sorry to, say sorry. If there's somebody that you haven't said I love you to in a minute, you have no idea how much it means to them and what a difference it can make in their life for you to, be the bigger person if it means, building a bridge, or to just simply tell somebody what they mean to you. You never know how much that can mean to them and what a difference it'll make for them.
Check in on them because there's some people that...
Yeah. Sometimes it's those people that are the brightest. There's a dude that I think about, Timber, that was just always smiling, always joking, always laughing. We had no idea. And one day we found him like this, and it's like he was always that dude that was bubbly, that was the first to smile, the first to crack a joke, always out there having fun, complimenting people. And he was carrying a burden that we just weren't unaware of.
Yeah. What's kind of crazy? We'll go out on this note. I think all of us have had those thoughts where we might not want to be here any longer and maybe taking ourselves out. But at a very young age, this is going to sound funny to some people, but whatever. This is true. At a very young age, my whole family's super hardcore Christian. And for some reason, the thing that stuck with me the most was going to hell. If you're bad, you go to hell. And I did not want to go to hell, eternal lake of fire. That sounds crazy to me. As a young kid, bro, I would always pray, Lord, please. After I sinned, I'd be like, Lord, please forgive me of my sins. Like, I'm trying to get to heaven, right? And, these were one of the things that was embedded in me that scared me of doing something like that. Because when I was young, these were things that were taught. And so there had been moments in my life where I've been like, I've been at the bottom of the barrel. And actually that fear is what kept me from even going to the stage where something's in my hand. I thought of it. Yeah. I wanted that out. It's just like reset. Bro, can I just reset, please? Can I start over? Can I just go bye-bye? Like this is too much. I can't handle it. But for me, it was the fear of this outcome that I didn't know about that just led me.
That's what's so wild is that.
That's what's crazy for me personally. So I've never been to that edge where I'm like, I'm looking over the edge like that. I've had the thought, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just different. So anyways, just sharing my little whatever, because you kind of went deep when you shared where you were at. And you guys, hey, you got to, give some people some damn hugs, man. Thank you, Ren. You really get the combo started over here. I mean, this was a 5-minute song and we had a breakdown.
Emotional breakdown.
A song breakdown, and here we are having a good conversation. Anyways, I love it. That's what true artists do.
Yes,
they spark this in people. And I'll play this outro. This one, I didn't play the intro because I was just like, I know what this is about. But you guys, you know what it is. Tap in. We love y'all, man. Give your people their flowers. 40.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again. FUQ.